All right, day 8, last day of week 2 in this lean muscle building focused training cycle, which is 8 weeks long. And the primary focus of today's session is an interval strength piece. So every 90 seconds, you're going to perform some work. When you finish that, you will rest for the remainder of those 90 seconds. So first, interval, first section, set 1, you have 90 seconds to complete 3 to 6 pull-ups with a 3-second negative, and that is based on the pull-up work I have already done in this training cycle, how I'm feeling with my pull-ups at the moment. And I'd like an unbroken set. I think 4 is a decent number to shoot for, but if I really want to, maybe I'll go quick doubles, so 2 at a time, quick shake, 2 at a time, quick shake, so that I can get all 6 reps, or maybe I'll just go singles, 1 at a time. And I know that breaks people's brains sometimes, like, but if you're not doing them unbroken, well then that's not, well, it's also called cluster training, cluster sets, so it fits an organization inside of fitness, and you can be a little bit more fluid if you just say, here's the work, how can I get it done? But for those of you who are like, it has to be unbroken or it's not strength work, that's BS, Again, if your priority is physical health, resiliency, healthy body because of, strong muscles, holding your skeletal structure in place, then it doesn't really necessarily matter how you get the work done. It's true, if you're going for a pull-up competition, you're going to want to start training unbroken reps. But if you just want to stay healthy, that doesn't matter quite as much. So just recognize that it's based on the context, based on your own individual goal. So if you're going to give somebody notes on their training, it should be based on your knowledge of their goals, not yours. Okay, so first set, 90 seconds to complete the 3 to 6 pull-ups with a 3-second negative. And then set 2 is 8 to 10 dual dumbbell reverse lunges. Remember, I always give myself a range, whether it's big or small, based on the resistance I'm using, based on how I'm feeling, all that jazz. So set 2, 8 to 10 dual dumbbell reverse lunges, dumbbells at my sides, all on the right leg, so right leg planted, and then set 3, all on the left leg. So let's say, 8 to 10 reverse lunges takes me, 30 seconds to perform. I'll have a minute of rest. So it's just keeping you on the clock, it's keeping you honest. If you don't have the interval timer going, you can, for example, increase the rest, right? Usually I like to give myself 90 seconds on a traditional strength superset, but all of a sudden used a little bit too much weight. All right, you can get, up it to 2 minutes if you feel like it. You can be fluid in that context. Here, I'm on the clock. I don't want to have to stop and restart the clock and, oh, shoot, that's too heavy. No, it really makes you conscious of what's the perfect weight so that I can move through this efficiently, make the work effective, but do it in such a way where I feel good on the last set. And I did give myself a range of 5 to 7 cycles of that, again, based on how I'm feeling. Finisher, this is a nice little lower body, or a nice amount of lower body tension in that strength work. Yesterday, it was dips and abs as the strength focus. So nice way to complement that, really hammer the legs, the lower body. But yesterday we had that finisher. I shouldn't say we. I had that finisher. If you want to follow along with this, all of the training programs are linked in the description. So you can follow along with this, the GLF method. And so we had that nice finisher yesterday that was, brought the heart rate up a little bit, was a bit of a grind. You had to kind of dig deep, push through it. So today the finisher is, more focused on joint health, physical health. So we've got pull aparts, reverse Nordics, some range of motion stuff, mobility pieces in there, 90-90s, knee over toe split squats. And that's going to be kind of a go at your own pace situation for 3 to 5 sets. And then there's the day. The prep work is the prep work. You'll see it in just a second. And I will say, I mentioned this at the end of yesterday's workout, but I'll say it here in case more people watch the front end. But I'm making some adjustments lifestyle-wise, so let's call it nourishment. I've reduced caffeine. I'm taking out caffeine from my diet. That's just something my partner and I wanted to do for a variety of reasons. And I'm also taking out sugar for the next month plus. Let's call it 45 days is my goal. So those are just a few adjustments that I'm making that, it takes a second to replace that energy, to, we're creatures of rhythm, the sun and the moon, right? So it can take a second and it can affect your energy. And I think it's really important to hammer on or push on that concept inside of fitness, because so many people are like, have the mindset of, no excuses in fitness. You got to push through whatever. No, that's a ludicrous mindset. And those are the people who are always injured or coming off an injury. Are like, yeah, I could have gone heavier, but I'm kind of tweaked here and I'm injured here. Well, then that's no longer the badass tough guy mentality, because you're always injured. You're always beat up. So it's a mentality that backfires constantly and doesn't express that, wannabe macho thing that everyone wants or seems to want anyways inside of the gym. So it's a good thing to recognize, have I made adjustments in my lifestyle that are going to affect this session? Not for the sake of the no excuses thing, but, instead so that I can take the approach that is appropriate based on how I'm feeling, so I can set appropriate expectations. And when I get into the session, I wish I should have been able to go heavier, and why can't I go heavier? Well, you didn't think about all the reasons, in your life that are, potentially affecting your session. So I'll stop ranting and rambling on that there. With that, let's get into the fitness. The prep work is moving and grooving. I'm already on set 3 and I'm kicking things off. You know how it is, there's always a prep work circuit of sorts. I'm kicking it off with what I'm calling banded scap protraction retraction reps. Now, many of you, some of you, I don't know how many people are checking this out, might recognize that, well, this is similar to like a straight arm chest fly, right? So the delts are the primary movers on this specific exercise. However, my intention is to use the resistance to pull my scaps as close together as possible, retract, and then at the top of every rep, protracting through the scaps. That retraction, protraction is massively important for pull-ups, right? That initiates and finishes every single pull-up rep. So it's true, I'm feeling the delts on this exercise. And if you've ever done the banded, banded movement like this, although on the chest fly, you'd be targeting, your pecs as well. On the banded, as you're moving through this, you can really feel the delts as the primary movers. I'm getting 10 reps because I'm talking. Who knows, I might have gone overboard, and maybe I went 11 or maybe I went 9. Let's try not to hammer ourselves with that. All right, next movement, and no judgment here from the hardo community, the wannabe macho community, because this is going to look a little Jane Fonda-esque, but it's the straight leg donkey pulse. I'm going for 50 on each leg. 10 already. Glutes only here. There's 30. Great glute activation. Again, don't knock it till you try it. And listen, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I find a lot of great glute tension specifically on this exercise. $20. I think I got a few for good luck. So I may have miscounted there. But I really do love that, you know, each glute working individually, so unilateral tension. We're prepping, right, for pull-ups and reverse lunges. So why not activate each glute individually? Because that's how they're going to be working in the strength supersets. You know, I'm working one leg at a time on the reverse lunges. They're not alternating reps. So why not get each one activated one at a time? And really simple stuff. I hate overcomplicating prep work. And you'll see that on a lot of programs, you know, from your favorite bodybuilder. You know, do a gazillion different exercises, make them really complicated, bounce around a gym. Like, dude, I'm in an apartment. You know, let's not overcomplicate this. Let's not make ourselves go, oh, I miss the gym. What about my little cable machine? Dude, you got plenty. I got some dumbbells, I got some kettlebells, I got some bands, I got a bench. That's it. That's all I need. All right, I'm going to adjust the camera so I can show you the pull-up singles that I'm going to do, and then we'll be back to finish it off with the split squats. Pull-up singles, as always, a great way to get set for any pull-up work. You know, you're mimicking the actual pattern, you're just taking away some intensity. I am using the hangboard on this workout, a little funkier on the grip than using, you know, one of the bars I have. I have, you know, 2 different heights for straight bars, but feeling lazy, don't want to set up the straight bar, and why not work the grip strength a little bit more? So that's why I'm using the hangboard here. I'm going to use it in the actual strength work as well. Just nice, easy rep, nothing wild. My goal is always 3 to 5, but it really lets me figure out, you know, how is the actual strength work going to feel? Is there some stickiness already? Okay, then I might adjust and say, let's just get 3 reps. Let's make sure they're unbroken. Let's make sure they're high quality inside of this interval setting. So just good things to help you gauge where you're at from day to day. Dead hang. Scaps first, always. Scaps first, always on the pull-up. So feeling solid. Probably start by going for 4, and then we'll see after that. Last thing is these dumbbell split squats. You know, just getting that same thing, unilateral pattern set up, similar to the pull-ups. Getting the actual, exactly how you're going to be moving in a slightly different texture, and then you're totally ready for the workout. Split squats to finish off this prep work circuit. I'm only using 20 pounds in each hand. I'm going to kick off my strength superset with 40s in each hand, and then I'll have, in the interim break, I'll be setting up, you know, 50-pound dumbbells for my adjustable dumbbells. So if I want to move up, I can get that, and then I can just tack on 2.5s and 5s to there from there, and move up slowly over the strength superset. But I'm only using 20s here. I actually find the split squat to be more difficult in many ways than the actual reverse lunge, a little more quad dominant. So there's 5, I'm getting 8, 6, 7, 8, I'll explain that in a second. So when I'm actually doing a reverse lunge, stepping back and stepping forward, that ends up making the glutes and hamstrings the primary movers. When I'm in my split squat, it ends up being quad dominant because I'm not actually stepping forward out of that rep. I'm down, I'm up, and that switches things into quad dominant territory. However, what I am doing is I'm getting that position set, basically motor control focus. So I know exactly where I'm going to step back to. That base of support is ready to rock for the lunges when I get into them. And on top of that, beyond just the position itself being warm, well, I know that this is going to be glute hamstring heavy, right, with the reverse lunges. So why not give myself that little extra booster, that little extra activation around the knee, quad specific, and, you know, have that, I keep using the word base of support, but have that ready to go and have some additional tension so that when I'm in the reverse lunge, you know, they're to a certain degree like working overtime is how I like to think about it. Because they've been activated on the front end, you know, they might get a little extra tension as I'm going through the strength work. So anyways, jumping into the strength work, you'll see that in a second. I'm just going to take you through one set so you can see what that's all about. It'll be the last set, so it'll hold me to the standard of making sure the last set is the best set. And when it changes over, you'll see me in the last set. I will see you there in just a sec. Set 5 here. So I'm calling it after 5 sets. Just based on how things are feeling right away. The approach I took, 5 sets is going to be great. That's what I usually do for strength sets anyways, because it was on the clock. Possibility to go lighter, giving myself room for more. But I think 5 is going to be great. I got 5 seconds, going for 4 pull-ups or 3-second eccentric. Let's keep myself honest on those. Okay, turning the camera so you can see the lunges. I'll see you in a second. Okay, 20 seconds to rest, or a little bit less now. I went 40, 40, 50, 60, and now 70s. This will be a good little push for me. I went with 8 reps. All right. It's looking like I've had usually like 50 seconds to a minute. Okay, yeah, about 50 seconds to a minute to rest on each one of my lunge sets. So, I planned accordingly. 5 is going to be perfect because I pushed on the lunges. If I had stayed at 40, so 40 per hand, felt really good, then I, could have pushed to 7 rounds, I'm sure of it. I think pull-ups felt good enough, but those are a weakness, so why not think of it as minimum dose requirement? What's the smallest amount of work I can do to get the maximum effect, to still make progress, right? So you always want to keep that in mind, especially if you want to stay consistent. And I think less is more often than not. Well, let's get this last set. So 8 on the left leg now. Okay, good stuff. So what I was saying is if I kept it light or with the 40 pounds with the lunges, then yeah, I can stretch it out a little bit more. But if I just increase the weight, I can actually get a similar, if not more optimal dose in less time, right? If you really think about lean muscle, those contractions that make you go, ugh, that oomph, so to speak, those are so important. It's why you see people in HIIT classes struggle to get truly lean. And the instructors or some of the people in there who seem like they have it, I guarantee you, and this is because I coached a lot of them, they step away, they go do strict strength work, they go do, tough resistance, and then, once a week they come in and they, really lightweight and, dance around basically and get their sweat going on. And it's more of an aerobic thing than it is true strength. So that's why I made the decision. 5 sets, went heavier with the lunges. Obviously, that gets the heart rate up. So now, all of a sudden those 4 reps on the pull-ups are more difficult.
So with 40s, yeah, they would have stayed more fresh. The grip wouldn't have been as trash from holding heavier dumbbells. So in my mind, I think this was the right call. But you know, it might not feel right for everyone. And so that's why you want to give yourself the option. It's not to say that you're a bad person or it's not important to have a physical practice, even if you don't love touching heavier weights. For me, this does lend itself to the best lean muscle progress. So that's why I made the decision, or one of the many reasons why I made the decision. And now I can move on into the finisher, have a great time with that, and enjoy my weekend off. Or I'll have a low day on Saturday, a little movement, a little stretching, and then walking with my partner, my dog, all that good stuff. So I'll see you on the finisher, show you one set of that. It's gonna be a really good one, lots of physical health. I will see you there. Peace. I am officially beginning set 4 of the finisher. Remember, this is a go at your own pace type of deal. Starting off with overhead band pull aparts. You'll notice the resistance, and I'm going for 12 reps, I should say. The resistance isn't outrageous. Feel really good with it. You need to have those moments where you mitigate higher output. It's not even to say that the strength work was ridiculously high output, but you want to have those things baked in, whether you like it or not, to keep yourself healthy. We have had some finishers over the last few weeks that are really nasty. We've had some strength work that's really tough. I think the first week was a nice awakening for me as far as where am I at, and recognizing that some of the output was really high. So we need those moments to say, hey, I gotta come down from some of those efforts, keep my body healthy. So here, obviously there's shoulder health involved, but that elbow extension through the entire exercise, every single rep, is also important. So if you're thinking of what is that, bulletproofing, to use that, catchy term right now, elbows, shoulders. And now I'm going to move into the reverse Nordics. Now, on a low day, I might get further back on these. But remember, I'm all juiced up from those heavy lunges. So just something that I like to keep in mind so that I don't push my end ranges too ridiculously far, or try to. This is a different texture than a low day where I'm really pushing the end ranges. So remember, reverse Nordic, and I'm going for 10 here. I'm already starting with hips extended, and then coming back, finding that position where I feel comfortable. I'm not overdoing it. Not bad, certainly. I don't feel, like that's not enough range of motion, but I think on a low day, specific mobility session, I'd get a little further. Four, all about the hip flexors here. And if you ever do get stuck back there, I just want to show this on one rep. You can bend slightly at the hips and come up with your torso first. So lots of ways to stay safe in this position if you're newer to it or you're not sure how far to go back and all those things. You feel like you're getting stuck. I want to say this is 8 here. All right, great one. Obviously a lot of our exercises, deadlifts, squats, lunges, hip flexion to extension. So you want to have those moments where you really focus on, lengthening the hip flexors. Just something to remind yourself of if you're not doing a lot of that. That's a really easy one that you could jump into at any point during any day, because you don't have to push your end range, right? If you're sitting at a desk, you could hit 12 to 15 reps and not worry so much about the end range, and just feel that tension as you stretch back. Maybe you lean your head back and then you just come up, and it doesn't have to be some huge range of motion. Likewise, these are also, I don't know, let's curse and call them a clusterfuck for me, but 90-90s. I'll start in a position that I feel really comfortable with. Now you'll see that this creates a lot of space. You know, a lot of people think, oh, this has to be your 90-90 position. Actually, if you come here, you're still in a 90-90 with your shins, right, 90-degree angles. The tighter you are, you know, the better expression of hip flexor tension. Now remember, I'm a little beat up from yesterday's tough sit-up work, so just start in a more comfortable position. Feet come to one side. Make this a little easier on myself. 12 reps. Now my shoes are old and need to be replaced. So you'll see I'm sliding a bit. If I had better traction, my heels would be digging in a little bit more. But the bottoms of these are frayed out. And I don't get the most expensive shoes on the market. I get those Fius. They're like 25 bucks. I replace them every 9 to 10 months. And I've probably been clinging to these a little longer than I should have. Anyways, you're moving through these ranges. Nothing ridiculously taxing. Like I said, I speaking of, you know, not making excuses, like I said on the front end, these are just really slidey at this point, and I think if I had better traction, I'd be in a more stable position on those 90-90s. But all in all, just trying to get some movement through the hips. Different than the hip extension, that's more hip flexion focused. And of course, you're rotating, right? All the muscles that surround your, you know, where your femur and hip intersect, you're getting this rotation, loosening up that area. The last movement is going to be knee over toe split squats. Now I like to do these a specific way because I have limited ankle dorsiflexion, so you'll see the heel peels off the floor and my back foot rotates. That gives me a little bit more of a groin stretch. So that's just kind of the approach I like to take to get the most out of these. Again, I know that there are people who would, you know, argue against this or for it, but I'm just explaining that's how I like to do things. And this is a great one for knee, ankle. Look at these positions: ankle flexion or ankle dorsiflexion, knee flexion, hip flexion. And so if I can add in that, you know, groin adductor stretch on the back leg, why the hell not? Now I'm going for 8. I may have snuck in a 9th because I was talking, but there's 8 on that side. Quick shake. Probably should have started with the right, to be honest, because this is the leg that's a little more wonky in my opinion. And that's for a variety of reasons. You can always go back to your history to figure out, hey, why are there some serious asymmetries? I was a pitcher growing up, youth sports, you know, through high school. And so, you know, I have some serious asymmetries. This knee also has a replaced or a fixed up meniscus, I should say. So, you know, there can be some instability, probably also being a younger person and not taking care of it right off the bat. Sure didn't help, but, you know, all in all, it's not the craziest thing ever, but just something to note so you can always be refining, like, oh man, you know, remind myself, hey, on that finisher, you started with your left, you should have started with your right. Those things are important. You'll see, you know, if you can even go back and check it out. I started with my right on the lunges. I believe that's 7. Here's 8. And of course, you know, those are going to be wonky coming off of the heavy reverse lunges, but there it is. You know, now I don't even, sometimes I'll do like a vertical shake at the end of a workout, but because that was a nice way to kind of come off of the higher output strength interval, I can just move on with my day, move on with my life. And again, it's true. I have a goal inside of this training cycle. I want to increase lean muscle production. However, physical health is always the priority. And, you know, a close second is enjoying my life. I have fitness goals. I don't want them to dominate my life. That's that's the ultimate goal, is that this should enhance my life, not dominate it. I spent many years devoting probably too much time to my fitness and to the gym, and at this point, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't need to be the strongest human being on planet Earth. I don't need to walk into a gym and puff my chest and be like, yeah, who's the real gym guy here? I don't need any of that at this point. So physical health, enjoyment of my life. So for those of you who are like, hey, you've got the weekend coming up, man. Like, you have more in the tank, and then you've got these rest days. Well, I don't want to be limping around tomorrow like, glutes are too trashed. I went for those extra 2 sets, and I had to do them with the 70s because I was already there. Or you and the dog go ahead. I'm going to hang back and foam roll. Screw that, man. Let me enjoy my damn life. All right, that's it. Week 2 is done and dusted. 6 more, but it's going fast. All right, peace. I'll see you on the next one.